All right. Hare Krishna, everybody. This is Krishna Kirti Das, and today we're going to be discussing the GBC's recent decision on female diksha-gurus, allowing lady gurus to accept disciples within ISKCON. And today I have with me Sriman Gokulachandra Dasa, who is the temple president of our center in ISKCON Salem. There's a very nice, beautiful granite temple that's actually being built there that he's overseeing. It's going to be a very wonderful project. And Gokulachandra Dasa, he's been in the movement for a very long time, and he's been in India for a very long time itself. When did you join, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. I joined 1993.
1993. And you've been in India almost since what time?
Yeah, 94 I came to India.
94. So he's practically spent his whole Krishna conscious life in preaching in India. And he's been doing glorious service here. So thank you for joining us today, Prabhuji. And so with regard to this resolution, I would like to read you the resolution, parts of the resolution, and just get your comment on it.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first thing is that, all these resolutions start out, you have a couple of whereases, so there are two whereases in this. So whereas the GBC accepts the philosophical conclusion presented in the SAC's Female Diksha Guru paper that a mature, qualified female devotee may accept the role of an initiating spiritual master. And the GBC body authorizes local area committees to put forward for approval as initiating guru any devotee in their area, male or female, who is qualified according to existing GBC law. So then the next part of the resolution, this is the therefore, Vaishnavis are eligible to give diksha-guru in ISKCON, provided that they A, meet all the qualifications listed for ISKCON diksha-guru applicants, are at least 55 years of age and in a stable family situation, living under the protection of a husband, elder son, or son-in-law, qualified householder couple, or senior Vaishnava or Vaishnavi Sangha. Receive written permission from the appropriate regional body or its equivalent or national council to give diksha in that particular part of the world. So there are a few parts of this. You have a philosophical part, which they start off with. They talk about the Shastric Advisory Council's paper. We'll look at that later. The second part, and this is perhaps been one of the more controversial parts, is that the GBC said that they will. The GBC said that. Quote, the GBC body authorizes local area committees to put forward for approval as initiating guru any devotee in their area, male or female, who is qualified according to existing GBC law. So I'd like to get your comment on this, is that you have some areas where they will recommend some female diksha-gurus and other areas where they will not accept female diksha-gurus. So what do you think about that?
Well, obviously it is already controversial point to say something like this, that you can be guru in one place, but in another place you cannot be guru. That's really unusual. Guru is guru, cannot be for some portion of ISKCON approved and for some not approved. That doesn't make sense. Not there was any example of that in history. So this is, you see, Prabhupada said that the ladies, Matajis, they could be gurus, Vaishnavis, but he said it is not many. That's what he said, not many. So if we see that his own example, that he never appointed any Mataji's a temple president, or maybe at the beginning somebody did that function along with husband or something like that for a short time or something like that. But you can see Prabhupada never appointed Mataji's a temple president or as a GBCs or any major leading role really. He never given. So that we understand that this is the system, this is the tradition, this is for thousands of years happening in India, in traditional sampradayas. Whenever we have this, that male will take that service of initiating. And now suddenly this is presented that without this major decision in ISKCON will not develop, ISKCON will not progress. But ISKCON did progress and develop so far without changing this Prabhupada's, whatever Prabhupada instituted, but whatever Prabhupada standard set up. So now this is the thing that is this really going to improve our movement and have thousands of people joining? Or is it really Varnashama and self-sufficient communities, farms, Gurukulas, what Prabhupada told us to do? And there, where he mentioned that millions will join if we have self-sufficient farms and the communities. So I think this is kind of, obviously, for us who live in India, it's obviously that people are devotees in the West are under pressure of outside society, which is pushing this, women equal rights and this, that. And obviously devotees are under pressure and they think, oh, we should do this step, we should do little changes, little adjustments, And they should just stick to what Guru Sadhu Shastra says, what Prabhupada did. And already movement is doing nicely, preaching is going on. India is blooming. We have the biggest temples, the biggest number of devotees, the biggest book distribution in India, the biggest properties, the biggest collections, without that, without female diksha-gurus. So, moreover, if you bring it in, we have problem with tradition, we have a problem with other sampradayas, we have problem with people who are still follow the culture in India, who still respect tradition. We have so many issues in India if you institute this Mataji's coming on Vyasasans, giving lectures, giving dikshas, ladies giving dikshas to male, that really will be very, very unproductive in India. It will be counter preaching. It won't help us at all. So it's a controversial step, and why to do it? That we don't see any visible result. That yes, if you do that, millions will join. I don't think so. I think, as I said before, if we do the farms and the Gurukulas traditional one as Prabhupada wanted, then millions will join really. So this is what I thought.
Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned that you said that if we just follow Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, then things will automatically follow from there. So, So I would just like to, what I'd like to try to understand is why in America, or in Western countries, that they feel now that in order to make devotees, that we have to actually be able to show that we have some female diksha-gurus. We actually have to demonstrate in a perceptible way that we really are equal to everybody.
Well, you see, from this, I don't think this is the issue for preaching. So far, ISKCON spread all over the Western world without having any Vaishnava diksha-guru. So now they say if you institute it, it will increase preaching. But why? Why is it so? Why is it so? Why? Is it that kirtans are not attractive anymore? Is it that deities are not attractive anymore? Is it that book distribution is not effective anymore? What is your problem? Why don't we focus on what Prabhupada said and go again on the street, go again push the books out, make a harinams, make a public programs, and make devotees. What is the problem? It works in India, it worked in the past in the West. Why now suddenly this adjustment only will work, nothing else will work? I think better we hit the street again with harinams, rather than sitting all day on computers discussing who can be guru, who cannot be guru. Somehow or other, I'm not really impressed, sorry. I don't think this is valid argument. It's a political thing. It's not that they are concerned about preaching. If they are concerned about preaching, they would preach. It's a funny argument. And then what? Okay, now you have female diksha-guru, and then if you want to please outside society, then you have to have homosexual guru also. Then you have to have lesbian guru, then you have to have all these new names. I don't know even how to spell it out. Sorry, I'm living in India, I don't know how you say multi-partner and this and that. And then you have to accommodate all of them. Why only female? Now you should introduce also homosexual guru, correct? Where is the end to it? That's my question. So instead of pleasing public, pleasing outside Western society, it was very liberal. Why we don't follow whatever Prabhupada said, whatever Prabhupada did, follow his example, and just stick to our thing, chant the holy name, distribute books, worship the deities, distribute prasadam, and everything will be fine. And do the farms and the gurukulas.
So one of the last thing that is in the GBC resolution is a resolve to keep female diksha-gurus, quote, not so many. Because Prabhupada said in his discussion with Professor O'Connell, yes, there have been female acharyas, but, quote, not so many. So this is what the GBC wrote in their resolution. He says, after 5 years, the GBC shall review this resolution to determine if the number of Vaishnavis initiating in any region or as a total for the world is in keeping with Srila Prabhupada's indication of not so many. So my question to you on this is, well, I just want to make an observation, actually. It seems to me that if you need female gurus to preach, but they're not so many, do you really need female diksha-gurus?
Right, shall I be honest?
Go ahead.
You see, I think, it's a bluff, They say we will follow Prabhupada, will not make so many. But as you say, if you want to preach, you have to make so many. Prabhupada said that temples, what did he say? Temples, devotees, and kirtans should be everywhere. Gurus, temples and gurus should be everywhere. Mm-hmm. Definitely we need more gurus. That's a fact, So it's a contradictory. It's a somehow or other they want to push it through, make it, approved, and then it stays forever. Then will be just like, regular, so many female gurus, so many male gurus. Who will restrict? Who will say how many, so many? What is the qualification of not so many? Mm-hmm. Once you open, it's like Pandora box. You'll get all kinds of
Pandora's box, yes.
Deviations. Pandora's box.
So we asked His Holiness Vishweshwara Tirtha of Pejawar Math that could it be instituted in Vaishnava Sampradaya that female ladies they become gurus? So he said, yes, ladies, children, everybody can take diksha from a guru. Mm. He misunderstood the question. Okay, so we repeat it again. No, what we are asking is actually that can the Matajis be a gurus and give diksha? Mm-hmm. Again, he repeated same. Yes, Matajis, children, old people, everybody has to take diksha from a guru. Uh-huh. He misunderstood. The third time we are asking same question, and this time his assistant helped to translate in Kannada or in Tulu, whatever language they speak. And then when he translated what actually we are asking, Visheshwara Tirtha simply stood up and said, only ISKCON would ask this question, and he left. he couldn't conceive that we are asking that can female be a diksha-guru.
Right. Well, actually, yeah, it's inconceivable, but with how India is changing, this problem is eventually going to come into their sampradayas.
Yeah, yeah.
The Sabarimala, controversy and so forth.
Yeah.
It's not going to just be an ISKCON thing.
Yeah, but you can see this is Sabarimala again. This is not philosophical discussion. This is not discussion based on Guru Sadhu Shastra. It's a women rights movement they are pushing. Women liberation movement. It's political.
So behind the political there is a philosophical. And so the GBC mentioned in their resolution that they accept the conclusion from the Shastric Advisory Council. So that was a 2005 paper, and they have there are a number of interesting statements made in that paper. I think most principally they have their evidence, and I'm just going to read you here. There's perhaps their most important evidence they have is what they call the January 3rd letter. So just like the Ritviks have the July 9th letter, we have the January 3rd letter, to Hansa. Right. And if you analyze it, it really comes down to that. They have one letter.
Yeah.
So I just want to read that out loud here to you. And quote, this is to Hansa Dutta. I want that all of my spiritual sons and daughters will inherit this title of Bhaktivedanta, so that the family transcendental diploma will continue through the generations.
Right.
Those possessing the title of Bhaktivedanta will be allowed to initiate disciples. Maybe by 1975, all of my disciples will be allowed to initiate and increase the numbers of the generations. That is my program.
Yes.
So it seems clear. Prabhupada is saying explicitly, his sons and daughters will be allowed to initiate disciples.
Right.
How can you argue with that?
Well, it's a simple thing. Prabhupada wanted to spread the movement. Prabhupada had to use any means to spread it and to encourage his own disciples to come to the platform of Bhaktivedanta. So then we should say this was 1967 letter?
1969, January 3rd, 1969.
January 13th, 1969. So now Prabhupada said that 1969. Did he do it? Did he actually do that, what he said? No, he didn't do. He saw that so many of his disciples are maybe having difficulties or, so many things he upgraded, you may say, later age, 74, 75, 76, Prabhupada went on rising standards for deity worship, rising standards of book printing, so many things he actually instituted, so many rules which were not there 67 or 68 or 69. So you can see he even changed some things which he at the beginning maybe he was lenient with. Later on he put more restrictions. So instead of instituting that there were many good, finally it never happened. So that we should study why it did not happen. Why this is so. Prabhupada said, if they ask him, reporters ask him, can female be guru? Yeah, why not? If somebody is qualified as a teacher, can be guru. Yes, but it's not many, very rare. It is a rare thing, And Prabhupada preached in the West. He did not compromise. He did not compromise. But he spoke philosophically. Philosophically, we have no problem with it. Although, you can see even the females which are quoted by the pro-female diksha-guru devotees, that Ganga Mata or who is it, Hemalata Thakurani or, whatever they quoted, ladies, to be diksha guru, Lord Nityananda's wife. So what is the point? That you can see two things. They were really exceptional personalities, Nitya Siddhas. Second thing is that you can see that actually they come in the later on. All Upper Sampradayas come from that line. These are Goswami's lines. And when Bhakti Rakshak, Sridhar Dev Maharaj was asked about this, that look, they have the female Diksha Guru in this Gosai Sampradayas. He simply said, these are Upper Sampradayas. He didn't want to discuss about it. Even if you have example of female Diksha Guru in Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, that also is from different branches which, we our acharyas, we do not even accept those branches as a bona fide. So where is the question?
Yeah, he says in his book, Guru and His Grace, that the mantras, they're dead mantras. These lady Diksha Gurus.
Yeah.
They're dead mantras. We're not interested in this.
And then you have to go in detail. Whether they give second initiation, whether they give Brahmin thread, how they can give Brahmin thread, they never wore a Brahmin thread. And becomes so many difficult things to answer, difficult questions arise from all of that. So all the arguments all arguments is based on one letter. No example showed by Prabhupada, does not fit in Guru Sadhu Shastra of any other Sampradaya, and even the example are given by Upper Sampradayas. So why do we do that? And what will we gain? Simply some of devotees who are influenced so much with outside society, karmic society, modern society, they will feel good. Yes, now we are equal to female and male Diksha Gurus. We are now accepted by outside society. We don't accept outside society. We accept Guru Sadhu Shastra. And as I told you, first we'll push you for female Diksha Guru, then you have some homosexual Diksha Guru. Otherwise, outside society will not accept us. What are you going to do about that?
Yes.
There is no end to it. There is no end. Once you allow a little bit, it is gone. It is very difficult to stop it then. So, why not? What about promoting traditional roles of the ladies? Nobody wants to hurt, as if offense. As we are degrading them by identifying these are our mothers, these are, mothers of our Vaishnava children, they have their role. Prabhupada allowed them worship deity. Prabhupada allowed them all the services. They can go home back to Godhead like anybody else. What is the problem? Even Krishna discriminates in Bhagavad Gita. Striyo Vaishya Sata Shudras Deviyanti Param Gatim. Even Krishna mentions them in different categories. Krishna doesn't say all are equal. So why to push something which is just coming from outside modern society? That's all. It's better to have faith in Prabhupada and Guru Sadhu Shastra and tradition than in modern society, which is changing all the time.
I would like to get your comment on the Shastric Advisory Council's response to the verse and purport speaking about Suniti and Prabhupada's mentioning that she could not become Dhruva's guru.
Right.
And now this is very important because the Shastric Advisory Council said that this is the strongest piece of evidence against female Diksha Gurus. So they give special attention to this. So I'll read the purport, this part of the purport, and then I'll read their response.
Yes.
Okay, so this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, the purport to Prabhupada's purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 32. Actually, Dhruva Maharaja's mother Suniti was his Pata Pradarshaka Guru. Pata Pradarshaka Guru means, quote, the guru or the spiritual master who shows the way, unquote. Such a guru is sometimes called Shiksha Guru. Although Narada Muni was his Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual master, Suniti, his mother, was the first who gave him instruction on how to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the duty of the Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process. According to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, and generally the Shiksha Guru later on becomes the Diksha Guru. Suniti, however, being a woman, and specifically his mother, could not become Dhruva Maharaj's diksha-guru.
Right.
So, Shastric Advisory Council, in their paper, they say that this is the one significant negative statement against there being lady diksha-gurus in ISKCON. And they say that in any case, Srila Prabhupada, I'm quoting them, in any case, quote, in any case, Srila Prabhupada is referring to an incident at a specific time in the distant past, unquote. So what do you say to that? What is the legitimacy of that interpretation, that ruling?
How come? How can you conclude this? It's a wrong conclusion. Sorry to say, but if you see the purport, Prabhupada speaks definition of Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, in all time, place, circumstances. All purport consistently is explaining Guru Tattva. It's not speaking about this particular incident. Where is that said that this only refers to this incident? Well, you can see the full purport is consistently speaking. She could be Shiksha Guru, she could not be Diksha Guru.
Mm-hmm.
It's all purport is explaining consistently, and it's matching to all other Prabhupada's purports everywhere else, you know. So it's not that only for this. How they came to that point? Where is that sentence that Prabhupada say, I refer this only to this Suniti? Otherwise, woman could be Diksha, but not this one. Why not this one? Then why not this one? You know, what is the disqualification? So it's a political. You can understand. This is not Shastric. Look at the text. You know, this is simply, it's a bias way of looking at the text. And you must understand, they are pushing the letter of Srila Prabhupada from January 3rd, 1969 as evidence. But Prabhupada's books are higher evidence than his letters, because letters are personal. The books are actually the law books. This is the law. And correspondence of Prabhupada, letters, conversation, walks, everything else is maybe some specific instruction. Like if Prabhupada said to some devotee something particularly, does not have to apply to all ISKCON and all devotees all the time. We have examples of that also. The Prabhupada could tell to one devotee do something, and to another devotee, when asked the same thing, he would tell something else. But books are the law books. So if one example is there, was statement about female Diksha Guru in the book, that is the major evidence, that is the first evidence. And letters, conversation, that is the secondary. And his own example, again, that has to be seen. How he treated the woman. He encouraged them to do service, but he never encouraged them into management. And this is a fact. We have to see full picture. You can't see just one thing. But this commentary is wrong. Sorry to say, whoever commented on that, it's just you are trying to dismiss all purport because it doesn't fit in your agenda. It's political comment. It is not Shastric advice. Sorry. No Pandit will accept this.
Do you think that this interpretation is something like when, some scholars say, for example, it's not to Krishna we have to surrender, but it's to the unborn within Krishna.
Then you can dismiss any Prabhupada statement from his books like that, correct? Whatever you don't like, you can say same thing. This refers only to this Leela. This refers to Prithu Maharaj. This refers to Dhruva. This refers to Prahlad. Doesn't refers to us, ISKCON. But Prabhupada, no, this is for us. Every single statement is meant for us. And particularly books, Prabhupada was very clear, very explicit. Very clearly he expressed his points, philosophical points.
I think it's also very interesting that in the verse, the actual Sanskrit in the verse, there's no mention about gurus. There's no mention about this diksha, shiksha, guru, anything. It's just, he was just, right. Dhruva Maharaj was just concerned about his mother. But this is Prabhupada making this point. It's not actually in the Bhagavatam text itself.
Yeah.
So that, it seems to me that means that Prabhupada wanted to communicate this to this was for his disciples. It was an instruction for his disciples. seems to me. Also, there's another part. They also say that that this was a specific time in the distant past, and that his conversations with Professor O'Connell, I'm quoting them now. I'll read this statement in full. In any case, Srila Prabhupada is referring to an incident at a specific time in the distant past, and his other statements dealing with the present time, conversations with Professor O'Connell or Aitreya Rishi, and specifically within ISKCON, are more valuable as pramanas in this discussion. So we seem to have like an emphasis on the here and now, that whatever Prabhupada said now, whatever he said now, never mind what he said back then, or why this emphasis? Why do you think they're emphasizing this, these pramanas, with the conversation with Professor O'Connell, the January 3rd letter? Why that emphasis?
Well, you see, the thing is that people who have agenda, they are by any means trying to find some proof to support their ideas. If you see full body of Prabhupada's books, if you see all Prabhupada's, whatever is recorded, lectures, letters, everything, you give it all body of Prabhupada's writings to some neutral person, to some lawyer, give it and ask him, what is Prabhupada's opinion about the woman? And he will tell you what is his opinion about the woman. Traditional, role, model, movement are mothers. This is what Prabhupada promoted. So you see, Prabhupada's books are like Vedas, like Kalpa Vriksha. Whatever you want to prove, you will find some statement somewhere and try to prove it. But this is not how to look into the Shastra. You have to see full body of evidence, consistency in his teachings and his activity, what he actually did. I think it is political. For example, Prabhupada said, any name of God you can chant. We are not saying only Krishna's name. Whatever name of God you know in your language, you chant it. Right. So you can open ISKCON Center now and chant the name of Allah. But Prabhupada Prabhupada did anything like that? Did he ever told his disciples, now let us chant names of other gods? He never did it. When asked, why only Krishna's name? We are not saying only Krishna's name. You can chant in any name you know God.
Right.
But did Prabhupada ever did it? He never did it.
Right. In fact, Prabhupada, he refused to, he specifically said that our society should name the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And when somebody said, why not God Consciousness? He said, no, yeah, Krishna Consciousness.
Exactly. So now I can open now ISKCON Center and chant all different names of God based on that Prabhupada statement. Correct? But look, did Prabhupada ever did it? No. He said, but he never did it. So for preaching, he may say like that. Philosophically also is correct. But you can see what he was pushing. He was really focusing Krishna's name. Even Krishna's names, not any name. He was specific. Don't chant Haribol, Haribol, Nitargo, Radhesham, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. These are all Krishna's names. Even in that, he was specific. So same thing, Prabhupada, for preaching to that O'Connell, he told, yes, to Professor O'Connell, so yes, female can be diksha-guru. But did he ever did it? He never did it.
Mm-hmm. So would it be fair to say that this that the Shastric Advisory Council's decision is incorrect or misguided?
Yeah, it's a bias. It's a bias. I don't know who is in Shastric committee, but maybe GBC should consider, maybe changing committee, because this is not. How can you dismiss clear Prabhupada statement definition of Shiksha and Diksha-guru as circumstantial? From where you got this idea is circumstantial? Read the old purport honestly read the purport and you see Prabhupada is speaking all definitions of Shiksha and Diksha-guru for all the time. It's not speaking about Suniti and Dhruva.
Yeah. So I'd like to, one thing I would like to just briefly address here is that back in 2016, you wrote or you were part of participated in a video that was a response to another devotee's video saying that women can become gurus. And
Yeah.
their video, this was produced by Kalakanta Prabhu, called She Can Become Guru.
Right.
And that video had a number of devotees in there, some younger devotees, some older devotees. Also notable, a number of academics who have studied ISKCON since practically its beginning. Thomas Hopkins, Larry Shin, and a few other younger academics in there as well. They're all kind of like making the pitch for it. So just a couple things I just want to observe about it. Theirs came out January 5th, 2016, and yours came out February 15th, 2016. So you produced the video pretty quickly, the response video. Their video had more than 18,000 views, but your video has about 11,000 views. So it's not, a number of people also read that. Now, given all the points that you made, all the very nice, reasonable points in this video, you've also very nicely responded, not only with your own views, the good logic, but also Prabhupada's own statements.
Right.
Let me well, there's many statements here. Like, for example, here you have Abhishek Ghosh, assistant professor at the Cedar Valley State University of Michigan. He says, here we have Prabhupada who comes to the West, who grew up in a culture where there is gender disparity. So he talks about gender disparity, and you say, quote, this gender disparity should not be misunderstood as a product of some backward Indian culture. Rather, these are the principles of Vedic culture. Srila Prabhupada use these terms Vedic, Indian interchangeably. That's an empirical fact. You can guess. So this teaching is based on Guru Sadhu. They are not conditioned by this mundane upbringing. Moreover, we accept him as a pure devotee by birth. Now, given you're very logically, very reasonably presenting these statements, presenting these rebuttals, now my question is, why didn't this work? Why didn't this persuade anybody?
Well, okay. What I understood, first of all, that this video was made to give chance to other neutral devotees in ISKCON to hit the both side. Because first video was having agenda presenting only one side, female diksha-guru pushing that agenda. But you see, when new devotee comes, he may not be well acquainted with Prabhupada's conversation, with letters, with lectures, with his books. So new people who have come to ISKCON, if they hear only that video, they will think that's it, Prabhupada told, and some political people are not allowing, or some, chauvinists or whatever, they are not allowing, but actually Prabhupada said. So what this response video was, look at other part of evidence, look at other set of scholars also, like Stilson Judah. He said very clearly Prabhupada, was very much into traditional role of the woman. And all other evidences from Prabhupada's teaching, from Prabhupada's quotes, that to get full picture. So video was really to balance the understanding that should not be biased only for those quotes for promoting female diksha-guru, but we put both quotes together and let's see what makes logic. Now this what you quoted for that our Ghosh who was, or whatever he is, Mr. It's very offensive to Prabhupada to say that Prabhupada was brought up like that, so he had some misunderstanding about women. Yeah, actually, it's offensive to tell to Prabhupada that because of his upbringing, he had this misunderstanding about woman position. It's very offensive to say like that to Prabhupada, who is Acharya, who is Paramahamsa, who is liberated soul, Mahabhagavata.
So do you think that the video that was produced, Can She Become Guru, was actually offensive, Vaishnava toward Prabhupada?
I think this particular statement was offensive to Prabhupada, and we were very polite in video not to agitate anybody. But that was very offensive to say Prabhupada was born in Calcutta, therefore he was mistreating women like all Indians. This is what he says. So why video did not have effect? First
Yeah.
of all, their video was strategically propagated. It was pushed, share here, share there, share here, share there, you know. You know.
Yeah,
And
let me,
second,
sorry.
yeah,
Uh,
sorry.
no, go on. You're actually going to make a second point.
Yeah. So that's the second point, that why video did not have success. First of all, first video was made with the agenda to propagate this picture of our female diksha-guru by taking selected portion of Prabhupada's teaching and mispresenting it as a final and ultimate and in toto, what Prabhupada said. So they were spreading it, they were distributing it, they were encouraging everyone to watch it. And the second video was made to balance the statement. It's a neutral video. You have one group promoting and you have arguments which are, you know, to make you think whether really Prabhupada wanted female diksha-guru. So this is neutral video. And that was neglected because it was taken as a opposition video, as a offensive video. But it's not. It's just showing you facts. Prabhupada said they should be guru. Prabhupada said they should not be a guru. Prabhupada said, yeah, everyone should be guru, but Prabhupada never did post that any female, you know, his disciples on post of temple president or GBC or any other leading post. So, you know, the second video, which was actually made to balance everything and be very neutral, it was taken as a coming from enemy's camp. It's political, and they did not want to distribute it and, you know, show it to others. I think that general public of ISKCON, the new devotees, newcomers, congregation, did not have actually proper right to hear unbiased presentation from Prabhupada's statements.
So let me ask you this. If we can't even, you know, if this other side of Prabhupada can't even get a hearing, what is the chance, or what is the even possibility now at this point of actually being able to have these different sides within ISKCON actually being able to work together?
Well, if we are devotees, if we join this movement to actually, for the purpose of what this movement is meant, to go home back to God, we have to mold our life and accept his teachings in our life. Discussion should be based on Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada's teachings, Prabhupada's life example. Then we will be united. But if you dismiss Prabhupada's statement, oh, this is circumstantial, and we should have female diksha-guru, why we have men, why we don't have female, then this is not discussion based on Guru Sadhu Shastra. Then will be disunity. We have to unite on the basis of Prabhupada and Guru Sadhu Shastra. For us, Prabhupada's books are even more important than Vedas or anything else. So how can you discuss any issue in ISKCON if not based on Prabhupada books? You cannot discuss it from political reasons. It will be disunity and chaos, and it will ruin everything.
So what does that disunity actually practically mean? What are we looking at in the short term? What are we looking at in the long term in terms of, you know, if disunity is what will result? What is that actually? What's the actual outcome?
I mean, my humble opinion is like this. I'm serving as a temple president. There are many temple presidents all over. Their duty is to know Prabhupada's books, to implement Prabhupada's teachings. And then everything works. Now it's up to me as a leader how much I am sincere to follow Prabhupada's standards of deity worship, Prabhupada's standards of preaching, Prabhupada's standards of kirtans, whatever. And then I got the result. So same thing like this. ISKCON leader means they have to have faith in Prabhupada's books. They have to read them, they have to know them, and they have to lead this movement according to Prabhupada's wishes. There's no question of outside influence on our movement. We don't care, Prabhupada said, we don't care of outside opinion. We care what Krishna says. So this unity will be there because they don't accept. Seems like leaders are not convinced in Prabhupada's teachings. Sorry to say. They don't want to accept it. Prabhupada said, because she was a mother and a woman, she could not be guru. And they said, this is circumstantial, dismiss it. That means you don't accept what your guru says. That means you are not accepting what Shastra says. Therefore, we have a problem. Otherwise, if we follow what Prabhupada said. Where is the question of disunity? Same books you are reading in America, I'm reading in India. How can we misunderstand each other?
Yes, yes. So Prabhu, just to wrap up everything here now,
Yes.
If you have some message for ISKCON's leadership, for the GBC and others who are involved in this, what would that be?
Well, message is like this, that humble request is to the GBC to discuss with Indian leaders who obviously by culture, by preaching field bring India, know more Shastra, more tradition, and they are more affected by this decision of female diksha-guru. Please discuss with them based on Prabhupada's teachings and work it out, find some understanding how this could be done, not just like by political agenda to accomplish something. That will not bring any good to this movement. You please don't ignore Indian leaders, don't ignore the biggest preaching field in the world, India, and the effect it will bring us, this disaster it will bring in our preaching here. We are traditional people, we are people from Vedic lore, Vedic culture. We want to promote it all over the world. That we have to understand. So just humble requests, consider discussion based on Prabhupada's books with Indian leaders, and then consider making some decision. That's all. Simple.
Okay, I want to thank you very much for your time and taking giving us sharing your thoughts and concerns with us on this matter. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.